It is now my pleasure to welcome a true expert on Amethyst, someone whose life and whose children's lives are directly affected by the program every day. Please welcome Kanika, an Amethyst client.
Good morning. My name is Kanika, and I've been a client at Amethyst for over 2 years. I grew up in a small town about an hour from here, the oldest of 2 girls.
I know, this is what you want, right?
My father, who I hardly knew, played a limited role in my life. My mother worked 2 and sometimes 3 jobs to provide for my sister and myself. My mother was also addicted to drugs and was physically abused by my father. For me, this meant I had to look out for my sister and my mother and take on a parenting role when I was very young. I grew resentful and felt unimportant as I cared for everyone else and not enough for myself. I was in high school and I first started smoking marijuana and cigarettes. The time went on as I had my children and men continued to enter my life who were emotionally and physically abusive. I eventually found myself doing harder drugs. I used the drugs to escape the pain of what was going on in my life, and I unknowingly got caught up in the same cycle of abuse and addiction I had grown up in. I never saw an example of healthy parenting and living, so I was repeating the same mistakes. For 7 years, I continued down this path. My self-esteem was non-existent. My drug abuse was growing worse. I found myself suffering from addiction, homelessness, unable to keep a job, and raising my children alone. I eventually found myself living with my parents again, who had remarried, joined a church, and started rebuilding their lives. It was my mother's insistence that had pushed me toward Amethyst. I didn't know it at the time, but this decision would change my life. After I got an apartment with Amethyst, all of my children came to live with me. It's a very frustrating and emotionally draining process. I didn't know my children, and they didn't know their own mother sober. My oldest daughter was skeptical and angry, and my oldest son wanted nothing to do with me. The family team at Amethyst helped me to obtain a referral for my daughter, and she was able to receive the counseling she needed. My son was skipping classes, smoking cigars, and being disrespectful to teachers. A family team counselor was instrumental in helping me find and use new parenting tools to deal with this situation. I may not have had an example of good parenting when I was a child, but I could decide to be the change and break this cycle for my children. Several instances have come up over the past couple of years with my children, and I have not hesitated to seek assistance from the family team. With the busy treatment schedule, volunteering, and AA meetings, SummerQuest has a huge help this summer. Not only is it a safe environment for my children, my youngest two really love going to camp. They're learning things about themselves as individuals, my disease, and improving social skills. They have formed lifelong bonds with other children and have learned to express themselves. They may not be perfect angels, but they are, however, becoming well-rounded, expressive, and happy children. They look forward to going to camp every year, whether it is for the field trips, to see their favorite counselor, or to get ready for the year-end SummerQuest talent show. I've been clean and sober for 2 years, moved up successfully through different levels at Amethyst, and started college at Columbus State University last week. My counselor, my case manager, the family team, and the SummerQuest staff have all been instrumental in my being able to achieve these things. Most importantly, they have helped me give my children a real chance at improving their lives and breaking the cycle that has affected our family so deeply. Thanks.